When I was being called to ministry, there were two major hurdles for me. And some of you, you're going to say, that was your two major hurdles, but they were huge to me. The first one, as a young 20-something-year-old, as God was calling me to ministry, because it was affirmed by some of the elders at my church, my senior pastor, like, you, my friend, are being called to full-time ministry. And I remember when I really thought and sat on that, I said, yeah, Lord, but football's on Sunday. Football is on Sunday, Lord. Like, seriously? And it was like, yeah. And I wrestle with that. I mean, I know, some of you know me, I am a football fanatic, but college football. So God gave me a gift, and it's on Saturday. It's called college football. But I wasn't really into college football at that time. I was watching about, but it was all about my 49ers at that time. It's exciting. I couldn't even tell you who's on the team anymore. But he literally, and I'm not saying this is your prayer, this was me. And I said, Lord, you've got to take that away, because like I'm freakish about it. Like my mother-in-law, before I was married to my wife, I'd be there watching TV right after church. I would bring snacks and see if she could have them hot and ready for me when the church was out. That's how crazy it was. And I'd go up to the loft, I watch TV, and my mother-in-law would say this to my now wife. She would say, who's he talking to up there? She's like, nobody, he's just yelling at the TV. And you're like, this guy's crazy. Like it was an issue. And God took that from me, because I recognized I couldn't do it myself. The second one was this. I had a real bad potty mouth. A really bad potty mouth. Like there were times when my friends would say, Tim, do you realize you just said the F word like 15 times in the last couple minutes? And I'd be like, no, I didn't. Like I didn't even know. Like you maybe have friends or people in your life are like that. Like, dude, chill for a second, right? That was me. And I like, Lord, like this has been a habit of mine my life, as a teenager. And, of course, obviously not in front of my mom or anything, but, or my dad. But like, that's just my life. And I go, God, how am I supposed to like stop this habit? I don't even know I'm saying these things. Like, God, I need you to intervene, because I recognize that I could not do it myself. And that's the question you have to answer. Can I change myself? Because the answer is no. And once I invited God into my life, man, Sunday football wasn't a thing for me. All of a sudden, I went from like cursing all the time and not knowing it to when one would slip, I would literally get physically ill. I'm like, oh my gosh, that language does not please the Lord. I was aware. He opened my eyes. You can't do it on your own. Do you want to be made well? Because you're going to need God to step in on that process. And thirdly, is we need to get up and do something with our changed life. How would that story go if Jesus says, get up off that mat and go? And he's like, he gets up, he's fully healed, and he laid back down. They'd be like, well, that's dumb. Why would we do that? But don't we do that in our Christian walk? God does something great, makes a change in our life, and we sit right back down and we go right back to our old lifestyle. Jesus is not just saying get up and walk. He's saying get up and leave this life. You have been physically healed, and now you can be spiritually healed through the power of Jesus. We need to do something with our changed life. So the question I have for you this morning is, do you want your life to count? That's the question you have to ask. Do I want my life to count for something? And that's a great question to ask, because God has got a plan and a purpose for each and every one of you in here. So the question is, do you? When you look around at our culture, and you look around at Hollywood and advertising and fashion and all the social media and everything, they're all saying, be different, be you, and who cares, and whatever. And listen, everybody wants you to be different. Anyone can be different. But what's difficult is to make a difference. Because I believe in my heart that God has created each and every one of you different. In your own gifting and your own talents and your own abilities, God has created you uniquely. He calls you his masterpiece. And so you're already different. What he's calling you to is to make a difference. That's a fact. Do you want your life to count? So when you answer life's primary question, do you want to get well? Would you allow Jesus to be a part of that change process in your life? Because God desperately wants to use you to make a difference. That's why we hear about miracles, so that we can learn and that we can grow from them. And so as I end, I will just leave you with this. Maybe, just maybe, like God tapped me on my shoulder in 2004. He said, I need you to be bold. Maybe God's saying that same thing to you this morning. You maybe saying, I need you to be bold. I need you to expect a miracle. I need you to want to get well. Will you be bold? That's my challenge to you this morning. I hope it gives you something to think about as we go into 2019, that it would be different. That you would say, I want to be made well and I want to make a difference. God, yes, I will be bold. And I'm going to ask you to be a part of the process. That's what we can see in this miracle. His heart for you is to be changed, to have an impact on this world so that others can be brought to the healer and so they too can get off their mat and go. And so I'll leave you with this last thought in regards to miracles. The Bible wasn't written to tell stories about miracles. It was written so that those stories and that those miracles would lead you and those around you to a changed life. May 2019 be an incredible year as we build the kingdom together.